And we shall move on to have the concluding address by Reverend Father Dr. Jojo Varakukalayil CST, the Superior General. Dear friends, Father Jojo has been trained in philosophy, and he had been a formator for years, and he had naturally formed a number of missionaries. Now, I'm sure that Father Jojo, taking into account the sharings that we have already had and his extensive missionary journeys, will be able to enlighten us and to conclude the discussion. Over to you, Father Jojo.
Thank you very much, dear Father Saju, for having arranged this seminar, especially the global mission of the Church. And it sounds something very, very apt and important, where the Church today, especially our own Mother Church, today is undergoing certain kind of confusions and inner struggles. So it's a kind of maybe a situation where it will lead to a kind of answer within that the superiors have to take a keen interest of the three speakers who have really presented from the very context of paper and the session, but what they were highlighting was exactly from the real point of a mission which they are living day-to-day life. So it is not something that they simply speak about, rather they are involved in a mission in which they really give themselves to a mission as such. Because the word God itself, 2/3 of God is to go. So it's God that goes out. So this can be the real name of a mission before the 15th century was used as to God, because God has something who goes out of oneself. So who doesn't reserve his identity only to the Trinitarian ideal of the perichoretic relation, how the Father, Son, and the Spirit is totally giving out oneself to the other, to the three persons. And there, the very spirit of missionary is to empower the Church, or rather, he gets into the very nature of God itself. That is to say, a missionary is always inspired by the popularity of the vocation, which one finds. Be very happy to share some experience in my journey across the missions, all the missions, whether it is in Asia or in Africa or in Europe or in the US. All these places, I think the expansion of the mission is one of the most significant aspect of the Christian living itself. Every moment you are called upon to leave flesh and blood to the mandate that has been given to us by Jesus Christ himself. So therefore, a missionary is really finding out his own being or his own identity, or to say in a simple way that he finds, or he or she finds, the meaning of her vocation in the collective consciousness of the charism shared by the congregation. And every congregation is having certain kind of missionary activity. And therefore, as St. Thomas Christians, we are grateful to the master of our great master Jesus Christ and the apostle, because the Indian missionaries have been rendering their service to different parts of the soil, not only India, but across the world, all over. Wherever you go, you will find some missionary from India. Then you will be grouped together, or some kind of coming together, and they are all commissioned with a task. What I find, some of the young missionaries, once salvation finished his philosophy studies, he are gone to for the never wants to really come back from the. What really motivates them is not the material prosperity that they find in the mission, rather the need of the people. The need of the people are really pulling them, making them, or really calling them where they really encounter their missionary vocation. And we know that the global missionary thrust of the church has been always marked with certain evil in the form of colonialism, greed, racism, and so on, and the abuse of power and so on. But apart from all such kind of things, there are great number of things that the Indian missionaries have done to the Italian God who gives himself totally to us, totally to the other. And where the Christ act of outgoing holistic work towards all people on every square inch of our planet. So therefore, the missionaries really find the inner meaning of their being and inner meaning of their vocation. And our mission is always joining hands with the South globally. So we have heard about the persecutions of the church in the early centuries, and which was only stories that we could preach. But now, today, we are encountering, witnessing, or even some of our confreres are facing this. And we have heard from Father John Elevathingal and Sister Hilda, or Father from Jojo and so on, who are reading the human rights or the well-being of the human person, or the wellness as such, which is the real mission of Christ himself, who had a compassionate heart that which really leads us. I think I have some view, some suggestions like to the missionaries or to someone who are participating, or we could pinpoint, that is how to be effective in our mission, or how we can transfer the values, so that our church has been European and American mission, where you can bring a kind of culture of imparting Sunday catechism to the young boys and girls, by which they really stay near or closer to church. And also, being missionaries from India, the Indian spiritual heritage is something very, very personal. As Father Jojo was mentioning about the meditation and the way of looking at things, and also that one is not simply spiritual, but rather than deep down, one is here natural world with everyone. He shares the very reality of his fact. And what I would suggest is to we have more occasions, and we have more priests, and we have more personalized. Send them out to the global mission where they people really need. So therefore, there is, although there may be direct evangelization, that means sowing the seeds of the gospel in terms of the human flourishing. And that would be the ideal of leaving your commitment. So therefore, in the post-corona age, Father Saju for continuously arranging relevant themes, very relevant themes, and picking up really authentic, credible persons to speak on such a subject. For example, today, the global mission in the post-corona age demands. So therefore, we have a digital approach to this kind of conference that we all take part from different parts of the world at our convenient time. So therefore, it's enthusiasm in the post-corona age to speak or to stand up for the redemptive act of God in helping out our brethren, whether they are in the closer mission or in one's own soil or in a foreign soil which is unknown to us, I simply quote one of the insights from Saint Teresa of Child Jesus. She wanted to be a missionary to the farthest isles, and she said, I will spend my heaven in doing good on earth, and I will be a missionary to the ends of the earth and to the end of time. So, for eternity. So she continues as the saint who is for the international mission, especially those who presented and their own companions and themselves to this mission. And may God bless them all. Thank you very much for having given me a chance to speak and to listen and to interact. Thank you very much, Father Saju, and all the participants who have listened and stayed back. Thank you.
Now we have a few minutes for discussions. Maybe if you have questions to any of the speakers or any clarifications to make, or even anybody wishes to make a contribution on these missions, you are all welcome. I unmute all of you and you could speak as you wish to raise your questions, and probably you need to ask. It would be good that you mention the name of the person from whom you expect an answer. Father Jose, please. Father Jose was a missionary already in Kenya, and now he teaches philosophy, and he wishes happily to go back if the opportunities arise to the missions again. Father Jose.
Thank you, Saju. I was listening attentively to all the three sharings. Father Jojo, thank you very much. It was a very philosophical paper as well. And Sister and Father John, they're sharing from their life experiences. So this is a question to all three of you, if there is time. One is, Father Jojo concluded, you invite everyone for a mission experience, mission exposure, mission life outside of our homeland. Why should one do that? There would be many reasons. Since there is less time, I would suggest you give one or two, and the others also, if they can share from their heart. Why? How this would be a good experience for the person and for the church and for the glory of the Lord and for the people there. Thank you.
Father Jojo?
The first requirement for going out of our place to another place is that there is a need in that place. We don't go anywhere just because we want to have an experience outside. But when there are requirements elsewhere in the world, like the experience suggested from Brazil, we are aware our priests are working in those American countries, and there is heavy requirement for missionaries to cater to the faithful who are already Christian, but they don't have enough people to take care of their sacramental needs. So there is this requirement. And our home country, sometimes a little too many people there. And some of the crises that we are undergoing are also because people don't have work. So put them to some work, go for some spiritual work, serious missionary work elsewhere. Some of this crisis will suddenly subside, because suddenly you realize what is important. What is the treasure of Christian life will be suddenly identified. And so we stop becoming self-referential. And so personally, what I gained is sharing with other people. Not only to faith, we also witness to a way of living, and we learn to live with different cultures. They also change some of the perspectives that they have about us. But above all, the joy is in sharing Jesus, sharing the joy of the gospel with people that we have not come across. That is the greatest joy I'm getting. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Jijo. Jose, you want to also ask the others?
Others also may join. But what are you gaining in Macau? I was always fascinated with the East Asian countries. I do go and look forward to. But what can we do there? As I've been to Kenya, lived there, loved it. I would go any day. Brazil also, I'm happy to go to South America. China, I want to go, but I don't see kind of relevance other than, as you say, there are more Christian priests. What would you suggest to the Asian mission?
If you are asking that first question, what do I gain from here? I think from Macau, my reach to the large country of China is not any way I could consider my proportions of work in India. I am reaching to a large number of people in China. One of the publications that we have, the Daily Gospel, we reached at one moment 160,000 copies a year, every year in mainland China, a country where religion is prohibited. We were still managing to reach 160,000 people, and you can copies. If you calculate 4 people reading a book, you can imagine multiply that number. And we are reaching about the same number online, even in spite of all the filtering and firewalls in China. We are still reaching to thousands every day. So this is a really satisfying work in the way that we are able to reach. But that's because of a strategy. With 5 people, what can you do? With 5 pieces of bread, 5 loaves of bread, how can you feed 5,000? This is the question. And we strategize. Blessing from the Lord, that's all. Yeah, thank you.
Maybe I would just ask Sister Hilda to respond, because you said there are a number of moral issues that you encounter among the people in Africa. And as a Christian missionary, especially as an educator, how have you been successful in addressing this, especially among the children whom you cater to in the school premises in and through your educational apostolate? Sister Hilda, please.
Thank you, Father. I provide first and foremost, enter into class as a mentor rather than a teacher. If I go as a teacher, I would only do minimum because children come from dysfunctional families. And also they carry their family burdens rather than listening to us. And another thing, in this country, premarital sex is allowed. When they go for the vacation, most of them, when they return to our institution, we have to send for pregnancy test. Such is the situation I face. So when we find them, we cannot throw them out of our institution. As like our Indian mentality, we could not accept. So yeah, we have to provide them guidance and counseling, allow them to accept. Then they slowly, by giving them guidance and counseling, it may not work with 1 day, 1 hour. We might have to sit with them like 5 to 6 hours, continuously, constantly supporting them to come out of that. Then slowly they will accept. At least there are few of them who have changed and who are also doing very well in outside the country, and they are working very well, my students.
Thank you, Sister Hilda. Father John, can I raise an issue on this drug trafficking, which is so common and a serious issue in South America, particularly in Brazil? To what extent have our missionaries been able to at least address this issue within the premises of our churches?
Yeah, it is a very dangerous question. Very dangerous in the sense that
You cannot oppose this mafia. It's very dangerous. Say, forget about telling it publicly in the church. Even talking to the people, no, to talking to the youth is very dangerous. Especially people who are highly educated. You cannot imagine the people who are in the MBBS course and other things. Some of our students, some of the youths are there. And they are very much ridiculed when they say that they don't use drugs. And it's not that cheap drugs. Forget about the ganja and the small things that people are using in India or Africa. It's totally synthetic things which is so addictive, so dangerous for the community, for the people they are using. And unfortunately and really, big guns, especially when you are talking, we have one parishioner who is a judge here. He told that out of 16 police officers, only 2 are true to their vocation, to the job. All of them are trying to involve and get in the drug business. Unfortunately, for us to tell about it in public is very dangerous. Not only about that one, you cannot talk about drugs. You cannot talk about cutting off the trees, deforestation. You cannot talk. You cannot talk, and you cannot tell about anything about the gold mining in the river, because our Amazon is gradually losing its virginity. A lot of fish are being eliminated from the river for reason of mercury. When they are purification, they're doing the extraction and the things for getting the gold, they are using mercury, and the mercury is entering into the water, and water is contaminated, is destroying fish and also causing a lot of cancer for the people. But you cannot talk. Some of the priests who are actively involved in this issue, last year, 2020, December 25, priest was killed. The harm he was doing, he was just protecting the small scale farmers from the soja cultivators. They want to grab the total land of the poor people. This priest was supporting and encouraging the small scale farmers to not to sell their lands. He was killed. In our diocese, 36 years old priest. And another priest, one of the sister who was against the deforestation, was also killed. You cannot publicly tell about it, but it is a fact. What Father Saju was asking is a fact. It is large scale. Our city is growing. Just the side, where I am staying, coming 20 floor building, and then friends also coming 40 feet, for not 40 feet, 40
Sorry.
floor building. All this, they are telling it is the money of the drugs. Unfortunately, it is a reality.
And are you afraid, Father John?
To tell, see, because we have the order, no? We have the instruction from the bishop. You cannot tell it public. Even talking to who are using, who are not using. The thing that the students are telling in the school is very dangerous. Kenya, they were doing it. But it was just what do you say? They are mixing Coca-Cola with the alcohol. It's not that great, But here it is not like that one. They are using it a very, very dangerous thing. Very dangerous thing. That is why it's not that easy to talk about it.
Okay, thank you. And the mission becomes more challenging when
we are not afraid. but our mission, our primary mission is sometime you have to close our eyes to continue our mission here because it is needed. When we are entering into the social issues, we will forget the main issue that we are here.